Welcome back to Cope's Corner. I am your host, as always, Mike Copenaver, aka Real Mike. You can find me on Twitter at Cope's Corner, KOPESKORNER. You can also find me on Facebook at Cope's Corner, KOPESKORNER. Stoked to be with you to talk about the UFC Vegas 34, the review. We're going to jump into what will be the PFL number 9. It's going to be super exciting. I have a real dope main card. Then we're going to jump into the UFC Fight Night, UFC, the Vegas 35, it's also called. That will have the Ultimate Fighter finale, which it used to be called, but now it's just the Fight Night Vegas 35. But it will have the two contestants from the Ultimate Fighter Season 29, and then two of them will be crowned the champion of the Ultimate Fighter Season 29. Stoked to be with you guys as always. Appreciate all you guys live with me. First but foremost, I want to jump in and thank my sponsors. Appreciate you guys once again being with me. First sponsor that I want to thank is going to be, let's see, 1 second. First sponsor I want to shout out is Melon Brand Hats, MELIN hats. It's a luxury line of hats that my boy Brian McDonald, he's one of the co-founders. In high school, he dreamed up a luxury line of hats that would have really cool, intricate patterns, different details, really cool materials, unlike any others that you'll see. Some of them are waterproof and float. So make sure you go to melonbrand.com, get yourself a dope hat. What up, Justin Williams? Appreciate you being here, baby. 808 strong. Hope you and your lady are well. Secondly, of the sponsors, I want to shout out Fokai Stuff, FOKAI stuff.com. It's Guam alien gear. It's my boys over from Guam. My boy Rome gave me the chance to support sport Fokai. I've been supporting them since my brother was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 6. And before that, I used to drive down to San Diego about 2+ hours just so I can get some of the gear that they have. They have dope, Hawaiian shirts, they have blankets, they have t-shirts, they have backpacks, they have socks, they have doormats, they have all kinds of cool stuff, all supporting the Islanders and the Guamilians. So shout out to the boys and ladies over at Guam. I appreciate you guys supporting. Then I got my other sponsor, Spliff Seeds Amsterdam, SPLIFF Seeds. They're marijuana genetics. So if you like to grow, or if you need some really good medicine, it's got some really good stuff. The picture featured is of lemon cream kush female. The actual picture featured is the plant that I grew. It's also on the cover of a book of a grower named Sean Prana, Prana, on Amazon. So shout out to Split Seeds for always supporting. And so go get yourself some genetics for your growing season. And then lastly, I'd like to shout out my other sponsors. I got Ryan Kick Your Bass, Ryan Richardson, Kick Your Bass 21 on Twitter. He's a professional fisherman extraordinaire stud. So I appreciate you, Ryan Richardson. And then my boy Justin L from Vancouver, always supporting me since the very beginning. And then my boy Ted Hicks, who does Late Night Parents and a bunch of other real good material here on Haps. So make sure you tune into Ted Hicks because he always has some really good content. Once again, I want to just shout out those sponsors while I had them up. This week is loaded, though. We have a lot of MMA. But first, I'm just going to jump into PFL first. Or actually, I'll review the UFC from last week. Sorry. 1 second. Yeah, so last weekend we had UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Gastelum. It was actually a pretty exciting event. For on paper, a lot of people might not have been excited about it. It was also known as UFC Vegas 34, but it actually, to me, was really quite exciting. We had a victorious night here for Cope's Corner and cashed both our bets, and I'll jump into them as soon as we get to them. And the first one is our first bet of the night. We bet Ramiz Brahimov, and he took on Sasha Plotnov. And what I say, man, my boy Ramiz, his jiu-jitsu was way too sick and it's way too slick for a guy like Sasha. I knew that Sasha wasn't about that life and he wasn't going to be there for all three. He lost the first round via rear naked choke submission by Ramiz. So cashed the first bet of the night for Cope's Corner immediately. And you know when I cash those first bets. So plus $100 for Cope's Corner immediately off the show, off the bat, 1-0. And I was already riding high into the card. So real good feeling to cash that bet for you guys right off the bat. We've been on a roll since I started my own thing. The next fight of the night was pure violence. Ignacio Barjondias took on Roosevelt Roberts. And holy shit, dude. There was a KO, TKO wheel kick in round 3 that just absolutely smoked Roosevelt Roberts into another century. It was awesome, man, to watch him get KO'd. It was vicious, dude. I loved every second of it. What's up, Ryan Richardson? Appreciate you being here, brother. My sponsor that we were talking about earlier. Hope the fishing is going well over there, my dude, and the family is doing good as well. Hope to see you when you come to Cali. So that was Ignacio Barahomdiaz in the prelim, just smoking Roosevelt Roberts into the stands. Amazing, man. And then the next fight of the night was violence again. It was William Knight took on Fabio Tarrant. 205 pounders, man. And these dudes were throwing everything in their mother with these things. Fabio Tarrant came in very aggressively and got caught with a counter left hook. It wasn't even really a great counter left hook in the sense of like, oh, that was sweet left hook that landed on the chin. It just landed, and it ended up knocking out Fabio Tarrant, who couldn't believe that he was smoked and knocked out. So KO TKO win for William Knight there. The next fight was the first women's bout. It was Josiah Nunez took on Bea Malecki. Bea Malecki was favored here about -165. I don't know, man. I told you the only thing I liked about Bea was her size in this matchup. I told you the little Tasmanian devil, Josiah Nunez, she might have something for Bea Malecki, and she sure as shit did. KO, TKO, overhand left, smoked Bea Malecki into the stands, and just ended her night in the first round, which is super rare, and she was a lot smaller. What's up, Mel B? Appreciate you being here with me as always. Always love your support. Hope you're doing well over there and your family's good. So yeah, Josiah Nunez for a lady got a finish. Super rare to see these girls get finishes, especially one that was 6 inches shorter than Bea Malecki, I believe she was. So shout out to Nunez. The next fight of the night was Brian Boom Kelleher. He took on Domingo Pilarte. Domingo Pilarte I thought was going to be a little bit too big and a little bit too long, and I ended up being wrong on that one. Thank God I didn't bet it because it wasn't worth the bet. But Brian Kelleher ended up winning a 3-round unanimous decision, kind of just schooling Domingo Pilarte all around the cage, and just made work of him. So the next fight of the night was really fun to watch. It was Austin Lingo versus Luis Saldana, and these two guys were throwing everything in their mother at each other for all 3 rounds. It was an absolute spectacular scrap. I believe it was fight of the night, if I'm not wrong. But if not, it was one of them. And so I told you last week that this would be one of the fights that I was looking forward to, and it was more than what I said it would be. And so Austin Lingo came through and beat Luis Saldana. Dude, looked like a little tank and just kept coming through and wearing everything. Thank you for the Super Hard Award, Mel B. I really appreciate the support from all you guys and gals. The next fight was Alexandra Pantosia versus Brandon Royvel. And I told you last week that this was the fight to watch with the transitions and the submissions that were going to go on. It was an absolute treat for the first round, let alone we got the second one where Andre Pantosia, Royvel had Pantosia in bad situations, but he just kept getting out of it, and Royvel was in some bad situations, and it kept going back and forth. And either way, Pantosia ended up ending Royvel's night, rear naked choke in round 2. Crazy finish, man. Absolute amazing MMA match. If you love jiu-jitsu and wrestling, this was a fight to watch, so an absolute treat. Thank you, Ryan Richardson. Appreciate the high award. Can't thank you enough, my dude. And so the next fight of the night was the second fight of the main card, because that was the first with Pantosia versus Royvel. Second fight was Vince from Hell Pichel, 805 native, took on Austin Hubbard. And my boy Vince, I told you guys, they weren't ready for him. He's going to keep coming and keep on coming for all 3 rounds, and nothing's going to stop him. And, man, it was a great fight, though, and Austin Hubbard did a great job. Shout out to him for the chin that he had and for the determination that he had as well. But Vince Pichel showed out a unanimous decision win. He cashed our bet for ×2. I had $220 on Vince Pichel for Cope's Corner. Cashed both those bets on him, baby. So we went 2-0 on Vince right there. Cashed another $200 for Cope's Corner on the show. That made it over $300 for the night, plus 3 units on the bankroll. Let's fucking go, baby. Vince Pichel, 805, baby. Show them how we do it over here, West Coast style. The next fight of the night was Sediumurov Kamarmonov. Butchered his name. Whereas Trevin Jones, my boy from Guam, who I favored. Trevin Jones, looked good until he didn't. And this dude, Karamonov, was actually fantastic. He had a great base all-around wrestling game, and his striking was good. Trevin Jones just couldn't handle it in the 3rd round. He's subdued to a submission guillotine choke and fell to, the man. So it was a great fight. Trevin Jones is still a stud, but it was actually a shocker to me that Trevin Jones would get subbed in round 3. So it was what it was. The next fight of the night was Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman. The big old bodies got it going on. Parker Porter and Chase Sherman. Chase looked good, kind of early. And ended up going all 3 rounds, but Parker Porter just kept coming forward, and the termination ended up being too much, and then ended up beating Chase Sherman, who was kind of just gassed and done at the end of that. But yeah, it was what it was. The next fight was the co-main event of the night, and it was Mark O. Madsen versus Clay, the Carpenter Guida, the OG, the UFC vet. Lost the split decision to Marco Madsen. It was very close, man. Clay was bringing on very well at the end. I wouldn't have minded him getting a win because I picked him, but Mark Madsen, he won a split decision, a 3-round affair, and so it was what it was. The next was the main event, and I had Jared Cannonier over Kelvin Gastelum in this main event spot, and that's exactly what happened. Jared Cannonier for all 5 rounds kind of schooled Kelvin Gastelum, but Jesus, man, Kelvin Gastelum's chin is of that nature of an absolute savage. I can't believe that he didn't get KO'd a couple times. I think Jared was actually even shocked too. And Jared seemed to be getting gassed too towards those later rounds because he was throwing everything in his mother at Kelvin and still couldn't get him out. So was what it was, but that was UFC Vegas 34, Cannonier versus Gastelum for Cope's Corner. Once again, we cashed the first bet of the night, and that was Ramirez Brahimov. He cashed that bet for submission of rear naked choke for plus 100, and then plus $200 on Vince from Hell, Pushell, doing his thing for us. So plus $300, plus 3 units for Cope's Corner. So cash those bets, baby. I hope you guys got those. Hope you guys backed them or bet them because made you some money there. So now we're going to jump into the affairs on this week. I'm going to go over the PFL number 9. They call it for the playoffs. It's going to be on ESPN Plus and ESPN2 on Friday at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm only going to go over the main card because it actually has some decent fights here. The first fight of the main card is Cesar Ferreira is taking on Martin Nielsen. Cesar is an OG vet from the UFC, Mutanchi, they call him. He's 14-9. He's 36 years old, 6'1" with a 78-inch reach. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. He fights out of Florida. He last lost to Chris Camozzi, and he lost a unanimous decision. Not happy about that at all, because if you lose to Chris Camozzi, you're really not doing very good. Then he beat Nick Roenick, who was 9-1. He beat him with punches round 1. Then when he was in the UFC, his last fight, he lost to Marvin Vettori, who's an absolute savage. He lost a unanimous decision. And then Ian Heinich, another unanimous decision. So really doesn't like wrestlers and people that are going to smother him, but he's going to have a ton of experience for Martin. Got a weird name, man. He's 7-2 is Martin, 29 years young, 6'1", a 75-inch reach. He's fighting out of Norway. He's number 1 out of the USA Northeast. So he's number 1 out of Europe Nordic. He's number 7 in the United States and number 1 in the New Jersey. So this kid must have something. But his last fight, he lost to Corey Hendricks via rear naked choke in round 3. And if you know me, a tapping is not for me, and I do not like people who tap. And so his last fight, he tapped to Corey Hendricks. The guy was 7-3. He took on Daniel Spawn. He beat him arm triangle round 2. He was 18-7, and then Prince Olana, who's 14-10, who was a bum. He beat him unanimous decision, and then lost to Modestas Bukaskas punches round 4, who was 8-2. So this Martin Nielsen, he's tapped and he's napped before. I don't trust him at all anywhere. Cesar Ferreira is a BJJ black belt and super well-rounded. I think this is the fight to win for Cesar Ferreira all day. I favor him greatly. Let's see if there's any odds on this. I know that it's weird for these other events. Yeah, it's near even. So he's at plus 120. Underdog, I'd go with Cesar Ferreira. I think that he's the vet. He's the OG experience. He's not washed up. This other dude's tapped and napped, and so I like that versus the BJJ black belt Brazilian Ferreira. So the next fight of the night is Emiliano Sortie versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Shoeface, coming from the UFC over the PFLs to hope make his money because he could not do it in the UFC. Emiliano Sortie is 23-8-1. He's 30 years old, 6'2", a 77-inch reach. He's on a 6-fight winning streak. He's fighting out of Argentina. Shout out to Argentinians and all their barbecue. Straight fire when it comes to that. Yes, I'm going to go over the Woodley and Paul fight this weekend, my boy Ryan Richardson. Don't you worry. I forgot to mention that because I had too much stuff to talk about. But Emiliano Sortie last took on Daniel Spawn. It was a draw decision, unanimous, so no one won it. Then he took on Chris Camozzi, beat him unanimous. Then Jordan Johnson, another UFC vet wrestler, he beat him ground and pound round 1. So, I mean, Emiliano Sortie's got a great winning streak, but this guy's he's tapped a guillotine choke before to Ryan Spann 2 times and to Gregory Babine. And once you tap or napped, I just can't trust you. And so Sortie's taking on Shoeface, BJJ black belt stud, a guy of a different caliber when he gets you on the ground. He's 11-5. He's 31 years old. He's 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. He's on a 1-fight winning streak himself, fighting out of ATT Florida, one of my favorite camps there is, with Mike Brown, Dustin Poirier, Jose Masvidal, and every single one of their mother that matters is pretty much over with ATT. Shout out to them. He's fighting out of Brazil. Shout out to Brazilian barbecue. Love it. He last took on Vinny Magla. I can't even say damn it, Vinny's name. Sorry, Vinny. Groin strikes. No contest, so it didn't matter what happened. Then he took on Tom Lawler, lost guillotine choke round 1, or he won guillotine choke round 1. Then he took on Brad Tavares, his last fight in the UFC, lost unanimous decision. Brad Tavares is a tough Hawaiian. You can't really hate on him for not having having a good game, and Brad Tavares does, and he could withstand all of Shoeface's stuff. Then he lost the Brad Uriah Hall split decision, and then Ian Heinich. What I'm getting at here is I like Antonio Carlos Jr. He's slight favorite at -140. I think his jiu-jitsu is way too sick. The other guy is tapped 2 times the guillotine choke. Antonio Carlos Jr. is at his favorite move is guillotine. He's got a sick one, and so I'm going to go by a guillotine. Antonio Carlos Jr. I think he's sub Sortie, and because he's tapped before, it should go really good. So Chris Wade is the next fight of the night in the co-main event versus Bubba Jenkins, former UFC vet again. It feels like PFL is stealing a ton of UFC fighters as they leave. But man, I've said UFC a bunch of times on this main card alone. Chris Wade, they call him the Long Island Killer, is 19-6. He's 33 years old. He's 5'10". He's on a 2-fight win streak. He's fighting out of Long Island MMA. I believe that's Ray Longo and them, but not positive. Bubba Jenkins, he's taken on. And Arman Ospanov, he beat him round 2, head kick and punches. Then before that, Anthony Dizzy, he beat him unanimous decision. And then he lost the unanimous decision to Lordic Rahadaho. Butchered that. 12-1 that guy was. So Chris Wade now is taking on Bubba Jenkins, and Bubba Jenkins 16-4, calls himself the Bad Man. He's 33 years old, 5'8" with a 72-inch reach. He's 5-fight win streak, fighting out of Black House MMA. His wrestling is his wrestling foundation. He still has took on Bobby Moffitt, who's 13-5. He won a unanimous decision. Then he took on the D1 wrestler Lance Palmer, and he beat him in a unanimous decision. So, dude, this guy's got an all-around good wrestling game. This is going to be weird. The odds right now are a slight favorite for Bubba Jenkins. I could see that with the power, but I like Chris Wade. I think that he's got a good game. He had a lot of skills back in the day when he was young, and so I really think that he could do it here. And so I'm going to pick Chris Wade to beat Bubba Jenkins there in the co-main event. Thank you so much for the award, Gary. Appreciate you being here, my dude. Gary Boxing MMA 365, baby. Appreciate you always, my dude. Appreciate you, Ryan Richardson, for the WOW Award. Really can't thank you guys enough for all you guys being here. Appreciate the almost 50 of you guys live viewing me. Could not do this without you, and I do it for you guys. The cash bets, if that's what you like to do, or just to come and have fun and just be like you're at a bar and just shooting the shit. So feel free to jump in the chat, join Haps, and do whatever you want to do. But the main event is Brendan Hogney. He's taking on Mavlid Kabalov. Man, rough name. Brendan Logney. Hogney. I can't even say his damn name. Brendan, 21-3, 31 years old, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. He's 7-fight win streak. He's the guy that was on the Contender Series, the Dana White. He won. I believe he beat Bill Aljo. Yep, he beat Bill Aljo in the Contender Series, and he still couldn't get a contract, and they end up kind of going on a run in the PFL. And so good for him. I appreciate you being here, compa. Fight compa. Periscope OG legend in the house. Fight compa. Make sure you guys add my boy Fight Compa if you like any MMA stuff that has to do with fighting at all. He streams every single things on Haps for free. Make sure you kick him some tips, kick him some love, and just go there and just hang out. I've been hanging out with him for years. So shout out to Compa for being in the being in the house. His name is Lockney. Yeah, they're sorry. So Lockney is how you say it. Thank you, Gary. It's much better. But yeah, so Brendan Lockney, he took on Bill Aljo. He smoked him. I'm high on this guy. I like him a lot, man. He's the slight underdog at plus 160. The guy he's fighting, he called himself the Killer, Mavlid, 17-0-1. He's 30 years old, 5'6", and a 70-inch reach. A 17-fight win streak, fighting out of Moscow, Russia, born in Dagestan, Russia, which means that he is from Team Khabib. He is trained with the famous Khabib's dad. And so this guy's going to be super well-versed in wrestling like nobody's business. He took on Lance Palmer last, D1 wrestler, and he won a unanimous decision and just took care of him just steadily. On this fight, man, I really like Mavlid. I think that his wrestling is going to be, and his pressure is going to be too much. But Brendan's got an all-around game that I like a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan pulls it out. But with that said, that is the main event of the PFL number 9, the playoffs. I'm going to be going with Mavlid to upset or to beat Brendan, even though I like Lockney a lot. I just think that this Mavlid's pressure is going to be way too much on the ground, especially training with animals like Khabib pretty much his whole entire life. But with that said, that is the PFL number 9. And now we are here for the UFC Fight Night Vegas 35, they call it. Barbosa versus Chickadaisy. This is going to be a fun one. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of names that people will know, but in hindsight, there's some really cool stuff that is going to go on. 1 second. I just realized that thing was up. What a reject. So the first fight on the prelims is Mana Martinez. He's taking on Guido Canetti. Mana Martinez is 8-2. He's 25 years young, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He's fighting out of Texas. I believe he trains with Yanez. He last took on Jose Johnson and Fury FC 46, and he looking for a fight, and he won punches round 1. That's right. This is I believe he was on looking for a fight with Dana White last, and this dude was sick. He came in there and ended up smoking a guy that was supposed to they were really high on, knocked him unconscious right in front of Dana White. So Mana Martinez got some really sick punches, a lot of aggression, and a lot of heart. He's going to be taking on Guido Canetti. Guido Canetti called himself the Ninja. He's 8-5, 41 years old. Wow, man. Hello, Jackie girl. Appreciate you for the high word. Nice having you here. Compa, I like this card a lot, and I can't wait for Kevin Lee to return as well. I think Kevin Lee's going to roll, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, it's pretty much the tough finale is what it should be, but they're somehow switching. I think they're switching it to get more views. But either way, Guido Canetti's 41 years old, 5'6", 68-inch reach. He's fighting out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. That's the only thing good about him is the Argentinian barbecue that Guido Canetti has ate his whole life with his family, so shout out to them. But his last fight, he lost round 1, left hook, the Dana Batrigel. Then Marlon Vera choked him out round 2, and then he beat a guy named Diego Rivas, who was 7-1, unanimous decision in 2018. This guy has not won since 2018. He's taken on an absolute killer. I love Mana Martinez here. I don't like the odds that they've steamed. I think that Mana Martinez is going to smoke him like I smoke barbecue brisket, pulled pork, 16, 14 hours all day. Mana Martinez is going to slay Guido Canetti. He's going to make Argentinian barbecue. He's going to make entraña out of him. He's going to just absolutely smoke Guido Canetti into the ground and make cannolis out of him. He's going to be dead. Mana Martinez is -350 favorite, so the Vegas odds makers have it the same. They think that Guido Canetti is going to be rolled up into a cannoli and absolutely smoked. Mana Martinez, prelim, going to watch it. He's going to start off the card right. He's going to knock Guido Canetti into the next realm. The next fight of the night is Patrick Sabatini, the OG, taking on Jamal Emmers. Pat Sabatini is 14-3. He's 30 years old. He's 5'8" on a 70. He's got 70-inch reach on a 3-fight win streak. Fighting out of PA, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the German colony over there in Allentown. A ton of Copenhageners over there. 5'8", 70-inch reach is Patrick Sabatini. He last took on Tristan Connolly, and he won the unanimous decision. And then before that, Jesse Stern, CFFC 91, armbar round 2. And then Jordan Titoni, who's 7-5. He beat him punches round 1. He basically beating up bums is what he was doing. Was Patrick Sabatini. He's taking on my boy Jamal Emmers, called himself the pretty boy, 18-5, 32 years young, 5'10 with 74-inch reach. He's on a 1-fight winning streak. He's fighting out of Redlands, Cali. Shout out to California, baby, where I'm from. He last took on Vince Cachero, and he won unanimous decision. Vince was 7-2. Then he took on Giga Chikadze, who's fighting tonight. He lost a split decision, and so now we know how good Giga is, and the chance he's getting this weekend. That split decision loss doesn't look so bad. I really like Jamal Emmers here. I think he's going to be bigger, stronger, longer, more athletic, and just all around have a better game. He's 5'10 is Jamal Emmers. He's 5'8 is Patrick Sabatini. So the reach will be with my boy Jamal Emmers. I think Jamal Emmers wins. I like him here. Let's see what the odds are. I believe he's a negative 165. 1 second, guys. Negative 155. I'd almost fire on him. If I'd already have 2 bets, I would fire on him. This is almost a potential 3rd bet for Cope's Corner. I'm firing on 2 other bets, but this is one I wanted to bet. It's negative 155 on Jamal Emmers to upset Patrick Sabatini and school him all around the cage. Like I said, I probably will personally drop it myself as a DGen. I'm going to be putting down the 1.55 units, $155 to make 100 on Jamal Emmers to beat Patrick Sabatini. So if you like betting and you like that fight, I'm leaning Jamal Emmers. So JJ Alditch is the next fight of the night, taking on Vanessa Dimopoulos. These are not great women, okay? I'm not going to start out right there. 9-4 is JJ Alditch, 28 years old, 5'5", 67.5-inch reach. She's on a 1-fight winning streak, fighting out of Denver, Colorado. She last took on Courtney Casey, cast iron Casey, who's not very cast iron at all. And not very exciting in that sense. But, she beat Courtney Casey, split decision. Courtney Casey gets taken down by everyone and their mother. JJ Alditch took her down and ended up winning a split decision. So, wow, congratulations. Then she lost to Sabrina Maza, split decision. Sabrina Maza is not good in her at all. Then she beat Lauren Mueller, who's been in and out of the UFC. I believe she's fighting in LFA or Invicta this week. So, she's all over the place, is JJ Alditch. Vanessa Dimopoulos, she is 6'3". She calls herself the little monster. She is ripped, jacked. I don't know. She looks like a freak show somewhere out of Japan. She's 5'2", super short. So no wonder why she's so jacked. 32 years old, fighting out of L.A., California. Shout out to L.A., where I'm from. But I still don't even know who she is, and I'm from here. So that shows you who she is. She last took on Cynthia Araco in LFA 103. She beat her with punches round 1. Then she lost to Lupita Godinez in LFA 94 in majority decision. And then Corey McKenna lost the unanimous decision. This is going to be weird, man. I feel like JJ Alditch is going to have a striking edge here. She's a southpaw too, so that left hand should come down the pipe. But the Vanessa Dimopoulos is going to have the jiu-jitsu edge. She's going to have the takedown edge, being the shorter, stockier girl. But I can't trust the girl walking in the UFC, especially one that's lost 2 fights. The girl's 4-0 and 4-1. So I'm going to go with JJ Alditch here. I don't want to. I don't ever bet it. I can't believe people have bet it. It's negative 220 was she started. She's negative 425. $425 to make 100 on JJ Alditch. Gross. If you guys do that, do not watch my show anymore. I can't handle that type of betting. Ridiculous. $425 for a girl to win a fight to make 100. That's terrible betting. Either way, someone did it at 220 and steamed it to a negative 425. So there's a bunch of people guilty. The next fight of the night is going to be 1 second. I got all fired up on JJ Alditch being bad. The next fight of the night is Dustin Jacoby. He's taking on Darren the Dentist Stewart, OG. Dustin Jacoby, he is 14-5-1. He's 33 years old. He's 6'3", 78-inch reach. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He's fighting out of Springfield, Illinois. So shout out to Chi-Town. Or no. Yeah, never mind. I'm an idiot. Last fight, he took on Ian Kutlaba. He went to a draw with Ian Kutlaba. Called himself the Hulk. Then he took on Maxim Grisham. He lost a unanimous decision, or he won a unanimous decision. Then he beat Justin Ledette with kicks and punches. The dude's got really good hands. That's one thing I do know about him. He's taking on Darren Stewart. Darren Stewart, the dentist, he said he calls himself 12-7, 30 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach, on a 2-fight losing streak, fighting out of East London, England. He last took on Eric Anders. He lost a unanimous decision, almost got knocked out for the first time ever. Then he lost the Kevin Holland split decision and Mackie Patolo. He won the guillotine choke. So he's kind of all over the place. I'm not really big on Darren Stewart. Darren Stewart's odds are negative plus 145. So yeah, same. Vegas has the same odds. So I'm going to go with Dustin Jacoby here. I think that he's the better striker. He's going to be a little bit bigger. He's going to be stronger, in my opinion. So yeah, Justin Jacoby should win that prelim fight versus Darren Stewart. The next fight of the night is Sam Smiling Alvey taking on Wellington Turman. And no, it does not. It sounds like Beef Wellington out of Hell's Kitchen when I'm talking about Wellington Turman. It's an actual fighter. And no, I didn't make up the name. Sam Smiling Alvey is 33, 15, and 1. He's 35 years old. He's 6'2" with a 75.5-inch reach. He's on a 5-fight losing streak, folks. Holy moly. That is bait to automatically bet against them, but I'm not going to do that, folks. He last took on Julian Marquez. He lost a rear naked choke in round 2. And then he took on Da Jung. He draw decision it went to. And then he lost to Ryan Spann, big old dude, lost split decision. He lost to Clitzen Abreu, Jimmy Crute, Noguera. He has fought with everybody, though. And, man, you cannot count Smiling Sam Alvey out. The odds on this fight are Sam Alvey is a slight underdog at the plus 105 number, negative 125 for Wellington Turman. Wellington Turman, he was a decent young prospect when he first came. Calls himself the prodigy, 16-5. He's 25 years young. He's 6 foot with a 72-inch reach. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, fighting out of Brazil. His last 2 fights, though, he got smoked. Round 1, Bruna Silva, ground and pound, killed him. Then he got smoked by Andrew Sanchez, round 1, right across the ground and pound. So I don't even know how he's the favorite right now. So I like Sam Alvey here. He's the veteran. He's got more experience. He's shown me way more than this guy Wellington Turman has. I think that this will be Sam's last fight as well, Compa. I think that this is a fight that will have Sam Alvey can actually win. I'm going to be rooting for Sam Alvey, Smiling Alvey to win here. Hopefully put his gloves in the middle of the octagon and call it a day and bid you adieu as he smokes Wellington Turman into the night and ends his whole career. But next fight of the night is the last fight of the prelim. It is Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Alessio Di Cacrico. Abdul Razak Hassan, he calls himself Judo Thunder. He's 10-4, 36 years old. He's 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, fighting out of Fortis MMA. He last fought Jacob Malkoon. He lost a unanimous decision. Then he took on Chaos Williams. He lost by a massive KO right straight down the pipe in round 1 and got killed in front of everyone as a favorite. Then he took on Manor Lanez and he lost the unanimous decision. So he's on a, like I said, 3-fight skid. He's taking on Alessio, who's kind of feeling himself. 13-5, the Italian is 31 years old, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. He's fighting out of Rome, Italy. So Italia, shout out to Rome for real, for real. The last fight he took and ended Joaquin Buckley's night with a head kick in round 1. Joaquin Buckley went viral for his own kick, a while back, and then he ended up getting smoked by Alessio, which no one and their mother would have said that Alessio would have ended up kicking and head kicking anybody, but he ended up smoking Joaquin Buckley. Then he lost to Zach Cummings, a big wrestler, unanimous decision. And then Makhmud Muradov, who's really tough. He lost a unanimous decision. I like Alessio Di Cacrico. I think he's all around. He's got a great game, man. I can trust him more, but the judo hips of Al Hassan scare me a little bit. The power of Al Hassan scares me for 1 round. Only 1 round am I worried about of Al Hassan. Al Hassan is the plus 185 underdog, so the Vegas odds makers see it the same as me pretty much. I'm a Di Cacrico. I think that he wins. I think this is an easy spot for him to win. I for some reason, I don't think the UFC likes Al Hassan, and he's just getting L's, baby. It does feel like Alessio's been fighting 60 years, huh? And he's just flat-footed, and he's not very good either. So, Al Hassan can catch him and knock out Di Cacrico. Don't get it wrong. But I think Alessio is the better all-around athlete. He's going to have the better three-round IQ. He's the one that you should trust a little bit more, and that's why people are slamming him on the bets. But with that said, that is the last fight of the prelim. I appreciate all 50 of you guys here live with me and the awards that you guys have given me. Can't thank you guys enough. The first fight of the main card is GM3, Gerald Meerschaert, taking on Makhmud Muradov. This is going to be really interesting. GM3 is 32-14. He's 33 years old. He's 6'1" and a 77.5-inch reach. He's fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He last took on Bartosz Fabinski. He won by a guillotine choke in round 1. Bartosz is soft as Twinkies, though, so don't get it twisted. He lost to Kazmat Chimyov, who everyone was stoked on at that time. He lost right cross in round 1, where the wrestler should have just dominated him, but he ended up smoking him with a punch. He lost to Ian Heinich, overhand right to ground and pound round 1. I mean, he's all over the place as GM3. He's taking on Mahmed. Mahmed's awesome, man. 25-6. He's 31 years young. 6'2", 75.5-inch reach. He's 14 wins in a row. This dude's a monster, man. He last took on Andrew Sanchez and he smoked him flying knee and punches round 3. Still had the power carrying into the late rounds for a bigger guy. Pretty impressive. He took on Trevor Smith before that, beat him overhand right round 3, and then Alessio, he beat him unanimous decision, who is is a stud, man. On this fight, Mahmed's got to be the favorite. Holy smokes, folks. -650 is Mahmed. So yeah, I like them too, and not until I saw that. Yeah, I like Muradov, but I don't like the number anymore. So jeez, bro. I'm not betting that. I'm not touching that. I'm not doing anything with that. Yes, I'm going to pick Muradov. I'll probably regret it next week because I know better than picking that what everyone and their mother's on. But I actually like the kid. I think he's tough. I think he's a stud. But he can fall victim to GM3, so we shall see. The next fight of the night is Andre Petrovsky versus Michael Gilmore. This will be the first fight of the Tough 29, the Ultimate Fighter Season 29 finale. So Andre Petrovsky is a great wrestler, and he's taking on Michael Gilmore. He's 5-1 is Andre Petrovsky, 30 years old, 6 foot, no reach listed on a 1-fight losing streak. He last lost at LFA 93, knees the ground and pound in round 2, and then he took on Andre Hall and he beat him punches round 2, and then Shedrick Goodrich, where he beat him round 2 punches. The guy was 7-11. The other dude was 4-1 that he beat, though. He seems to obviously beat anyone that can't handle a wrestling base because he's such a great D1 wrestler. But who knows? He's taking on Michael Gilmore. Michael Gilmore is not great, man. He's 6 foot. He's 6'3". He's 34 years old. He's 5'11". He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's fighting out of Michigan. I believe he got called onto the Ultimate Fighter late. It was a replacement, and then got beat right away. So for some reason, I feel like they just like this guy because he came on a short notice and was ready to scrap anyone. Either way, I don't know, man. This guy's lost the triangle choke. He's lost the standing guillotine. He's lost the chokes. He's lost a bunch of times and tapped a bunch of times. This should be tailor-made for Petrovsky to take him down and to beat him. The odds have Petrovsky at a -600. So they think the same thing. They think that Andre Petrovsky's D1 wrestling is going to get him down the ground and absolutely kill Gilmore. I don't know if that's true, though. He has a very suspect chin, does Andre. I cannot bet on him. I would not bet on him. -600 is crazy. His wrestling is good, but it's not that good. I'm going to pick Michael Gilmore. I'm sorry. I've got to go against the grain. It's going to be the one time when I think tonight I'm going to go against the big favorite. But I'm picking Michael Gilmore as the underdog. I can't do the steam on Andre Petrovsky. I think that he's just not that good. His striking sucks. If he gets kneed or punched in the face, his D1 wrestling goes out the window. Michael Gilmore wins. But do not bet this fight and do not parlay it. I just don't think that it's worth your time, man. So with that said, that is Andre Petrovsky versus Michael Gilmore. The next fight is going to be awesome, man. Kevin Motown Lee versus Daniel Derod Rodriguez, baby. Let's go. Motown phenom Kevin Lee, 18-6, 28 years young, 5'9" with a 77-inch reach, 1-fight losing streak, fighting out of TriStar Gym. I don't believe he's actually in TriStar right now. He's somewhere else, and I think Faraz is coming down and helping him. But either way, Kevin Lee, great wrestler, powerful, athletic. I mean, his last loss was versus Charles Oliveira, round 3, guillotine choke. You can't really hate on that. It's Charles Oliveira, and he's fighting for a championship. So he lost to him. Then he beat Gregor Gillespie, D1 wrestler, who was a stud. He smoked him overhand right to head kick that ended up sending Gregor Gillespie's soul into the octagon cage round 1. Then he took on RDA. RDA's arm triangle choked Kevin Lee round 4 when he got tired. And then he took on Alacuenta. He lost unanimous decision. Kevin Lee's been all over the place with everyone and their mother. He's got tons of skill, tons of heart, and a big mouth. And hopefully he backs it. He's taking on Derod, Daniel Rodriguez, 15-2. He's 6'1". He's on a 74-inch reach. He's 34 years old. He's on a 2-fight win streak, fighting in Alhambra, California, baby. Shout out to the hat, friggin' badass pastrami over there that we have over here in Simi as well. He last took on Preston Parsons. He won round 1 punches. Yeah, we bet him, D-Rod, and he smoked Preston Parsons into the ground. An easy win for us for Cope's Corner. Then he took a Mike Perry, Platinum Perry, and he won unanimous decision. We also bet him as well there. Then we bet him versus Nicholas Dalby. We did D-Rod. We lost. I was pissed. He ended up not showing up at all and losing to Dalby, a 3-round unanimous decision, and really disappointed me. This one, dude, if you can lose to Nicholas Doughboy Dalby, you can lose to Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee's got the cardio, he's got the jiu-jitsu, he's got the wrestling, he's got all the attributes to kind of give Daniel Rodriguez fits for all 3 rounds. The odds makers have this right here as Kevin Lee is the slight favorite at -150. I like Kevin Lee at the -150 mark. I would bet him. I'm not betting him for the show, but -150, so $150 makes 100. I'm taking Kevin Lee to smother Daniel Rodriguez and either finish him late in the round 2 or 3 on the ground or get a unanimous decision win because he's just too much, man, in my opinion, of his wrestling. So going to be a great fight, Kevin Lee versus D-Rod. The next fight of the night is the first championship bout for the Ultimate Fighter 29. It is Ricky Teresios versus Brady Heisted. It's for the 135-pound Ultimate Fighter belt, baby, and the contract and everything that comes with it. Ricky Teresios is 10-2. He's 28 years old, 5'9", with a 72-inch reach. He's on a 1-fight winning streak, fighting out of Team Alpha Male up in Sacktown, California, getting his wrestling sharp. He last took on Khalid Patrit. He beat him round 2 armbar. The guy was 4-3 though. He lost to Mana Martinez round 1 punches. Yeah, well, we saw Mana Martinez got power like no one's business, and he's fighting on this card. He's going to silence Guido Canetti's night. So yeah, he lost to Guido by punches. That could happen because the dude's a savage. Then he beat Josh Paiva, who's 10-2, unanimous decision win. Ricky Teresios is very well rounded. Has some sick kicks, sick striking. He's all over the place. He switches stances. I really like his all-around game. He's taking on the young man, Brady Heisted, who's called himself Bam Bam. He's only 5-1 on his record as Bam Bam, and he's 22 years old. He's so young, man. He's really good, though, for being as young as he is, but I think he's just outmatched. 5'8" they're showing for his height. No reach listed. He last took on Shane Sargent, and he won rear naked choke, round 1. The guy was 1-12. 1-12. I can't believe this guy is in the Ultimate Fighter finale. He beat a guy who was 1-12. It's crazy. Then he lost to a guy who's 9-5 named Chad Ellinger. Round 3 punches. Dude, Ricky Teresios is the fight here. He's the bet here. He is my first bet for Cope's Corner for this week. I'm backing Ricky Teresios. I'm going to be betting him at the -155 number. $155 going down on Ricky to cash this bet to make $100 to +1 unit for Cope's Corner. So let's go, Ricky. I believe that you're the man and you're going to get it done. And the next fight of the night is the co-main event for the night. It is the last fight for the Tough 29 finale. It is the championship bout between the 185-pounders. Brian Battle was supposed to take on Tresson Gore. Tresson Gore was injured and he got pulled. And Gilbert Urbina, who Tresson Gore beat to get to the finale, is taking his place. Gilbert Urbina versus Brian Battle is the co-main event. Brian Battle is 5-1. He called himself Pooh Bear. 26 years young, 6'2", no reach listed, 4-fight win streak, fighting out of South Carolina, United States, baby. He last took on Ben Fowler, who was 0-0, folks, and he won rear naked choke. The guy's 0-0. You better win. And then he beat a guy named Josh Karizin, who's 2-1. 2-1 the guy was, and he won round 2, KO TKO. It's like, yeah. So, the only loss he has is an armbar, round 1. I don't really like it, but he was so young. He was only his second fight in. So that's Brian Battle's only bad side is that his one submission loss. He's taking on Gilbert Urbina from the Urbina brothers. There's 3 of them. He's one of them, the youngest, I believe. 6-1. He's 25 years young, 6'3", 74-inch reach. He's on a 1-fight win streak, fighting out of BMF Ranch with Cowboy Cerrone. And then fighting out of Texas. Shout out to Texas Barbecue. He last took on Angelo Trevino. He won unanimous decision, and then he lost to Sean Brady, who was 8-0 unanimous decision. Sean Brady is huge, so big for his weight class. You can't even hate on that loss. So his only loss is to unanimous decision to a huge stud named Sean Brady, who's long and strong and in the UFC doing well. I really like Brian Battle here. This is going to be my second bet of the night. I've been watching the whole Ultimate Fighter season 29 from the very beginning. I like Treshawn Gore to win it, but now that he's not taking on Brian Battle, I like Brian Battle a lot here. I think he's big. I think he's strong. I think he has a striking game that's going to present fits to Gilbert Urbina. He's at the negative 165 money line, so I'll be putting down $165 to make $100 on Brian Battle to give Gilbert Urbina fits and to win the TUF 29 crown at 185 pounds. So let's fucking go, baby. Those are the two bets for the Cope's Corner for this week. And the co-main event of the night is Brian Battle, Gilbert Urbina. So let's go, Brian Battle. Let's cash these bets, baby. Appreciate the Women's Equality Award, Ryan. Always good to have women's equal rights, my dude. They need firearms like we do, and they need everything that we have. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys being here, all 59 of you guys live. And then so the main event of the night is Edson Barbosa versus Giga Chikadze. Dude, this is going to be absolute fireworks. Edson Barbosa, 22-9, 35 years old, 5'11", 75-inch reach. He's on a 2-fight win streak, fighting out of Jupiter, Florida, ATT, Florida, baby. Shout out Mike Brown, Dustin the Diamond, George Masvidal, my boy, game bred for life. So yeah, he's got a great team. He's last took on Shane Burgos, and he smoked him right hook in round 3. Shane Burgos is an absolute madman monster. It was a very delayed knockout Shane Burgos had. It was awesome. But he took on Makwan Americani, Mr. Finland. He beat him unanimous decision. But then before that, he was on his losing streaks. He lost to Dan Ige, split decision. He lost to Pel Felder, split decision. He lost to Justin Gaethje, round 1. Did Edson Barbosa. So he really only kind of has problems with, it looks like, wrestlers, and a striking combo. So all around good game. He's old, is Edson. That's my only problem with him. His kick game is sick. He throws the hardest leg kicks ever, probably in the MMA. When he was in his prime, you did not want to get hit by an Edson Barbosa leg kick. It will end your whole night, your whole career. It'll snap your leg. Giga, the Ninja Chikadze, he is 13-2. He is 33 years old. He's 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. He's on an 8-fight win streak. He's fighting out of King's MMA, fighting out of Huntington Beach, baby. HB, great place to be. He last took on Cub Swanson, and he won body kick to ground and pound round 1. Then Jamie Simmons, he won head kick ground and pound round 1. And then Omar Morales, who was 10-0, he beat unanimous decision. So, he's great. He's got a great striking game. He's really well decorated when it comes to his striking. But it's Edson Barbosa, guys. What do you say about that? It's like, it's Edson. I can't bet against them. I'm not betting this fight at all. But Edson Barbosa is the slight favorite at negative 120. Negative 120 is Barbosa. That's crazy, man. I feel like it's bait. I feel like this is the time where I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick against Edson Barbosa, the OG. I feel like he's just too old. I feel like he's been through too many wars, and I feel like Giga's got just as good a striking than Edson. So I'm gonna sadly go against Edson. I'm gonna pick Giga to win this fight at the plus 100 odds. So if you like the betting on that, do it. But I do not recommend betting on it. I think that's a fight to watch and not a fight to bet, in my opinion. So with that said, that is the last fight in the main event for the UFC Vegas 35, Barbosa versus Chikadze. And so our two bets for the event will be the Ultimate Fighter 135er, Ricky Teresios, and Brian Battle. Ricky Teresios is at $155 right now to make 100, and Brian Battle is at $165 to make 100 on Bovada, and that is where I will be firing and betting. So make sure you get your bets in before the weekend because the lines will change. With that said, that is the UFC, and the reason why we are really here is Paul versus Woodley. No, I'm just joking. No, but we are here for Paul versus Woodley, so make sure that we're definitely going to talk about this. I'm super stoked for this fight. I love freak shows. I love circus acts. I love anything that has to do with just making a mockery of stuff, and that's exactly what this is doing. It's Tyrone Woodley, former MMA UFC champion, veteran, stud. He's been doing this for over a decade. This guy is so well decorated that it's crazy. He's taking on Jake Paul, the YouTube kid, the YouTube star. This guy has somehow talked himself into the money fights, and I can't even hate on him because, dude, do what you got to do to make that money. This fight is going down on Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys tune in and find yourself a stream or pay for it on Showtime. Either way, I don't care. Just make sure you see it because it is going to be fun. And you can't say it ain't going to be fun because it sure as shit will. Freak shows are always fun. Go to the circus and you see a freak show back in the day. It was fun or funny or it's entertaining. And so with that said, man, we got to remember Tyrone Woodley, right? Great wrestler. D1 wrestler, former champion, 19-7-1 on his record, 39 years old, 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. The thing we're going to have here is that Tyrone's on a 4-fight losing streak in MMA himself. He fights out of one of the best camps there is, the ATT Florida. That's the best thing he's got going for him. He's last lost to Vincente Luque, Darce. He last lost to Colby Covington, rib injury, round 5. He lost to Gilbert Burns, unanimous decision. He lost to Usman, unanimous decision. He hasn't won a fight since 2008. And it was by Darce choke versus Darren Till because he didn't want to strike. Damian Maia, he didn't want to go to the ground and he didn't really strike. I mean, Stephen Thompson didn't really strike. I don't know why we're sending Tyrone Woodley in here to do our dirty work. Tyrone Woodley is going to be greatly outsized here. He is the shortest possible 5'9" that there is. He is at max 190 pounds. Maybe 2 he can be, but whatever. Jake Paul is 24 years young, 6 foot tall. They're not even showing the reach, but I believe there is no weight class for this. There is 190 pounds is the weight class. So not only is Jake Paul going to be bigger, not only does he have everything favoring him, Tyrone Woodley's got all the pressure on him. I told you last time when Ben Askren lost that Ben Askren was going to lose. We were sending out our old dog with bad hip dysplasia out there to fight the YouTube kid and make a mockery, and ended up smoking Askren because Askren decided to flop or just get smoked. I do not put it past Tyrone Woodley here to flop on the ground here, to do whatever he's got to do to make money for his family. When you got kids and when you got a family, you got to do what you got to do to make money, all right? Tyrone Woodley is going to do what he has to do to make money, but I really don't think that he's going to be the guy that's going to do it for us. I'm going to be cheering him on. Trust me. I'm going to be begging him to win the whole entire time. But with that said, that might not happen. We might see the OG MMA king Tyrone Woodley, former champion at 170 pounds. We thought he was great at one point. We might see Tyrone Woodley lose to a YouTube kid. If this happens, MMA is going to get a little bit tainted. Jake Paul is going to go on another run here, and it's just going to keep making money. This is all about making money. I work for Hollywood, Local 44 Hollywood. Shout out to the best local there is in the world. As a prop maker, I'm doing this season of The Voice right now. And so I know Hollywood straight out myself. I know when you could rig something. I know when there's money on the line and what needs to happen. That's what happened last time with Ben Askren flopping. He got paid more money to flop than he did to fight for real in the UFC. Tyrone Woodley here probably will get paid more to lose this fight than he ever got paid in the UFC. And that's sad. The UFC needs to start paying their fighters more money. They're making a ton of money compared to the other sports that there are. And they don't even, give them any money of their likeness, like their video game characters or like jerseys or like it, Kobe gets money off his shirts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm stoked to see this fight. So make sure you guys tune in this weekend on Sunday. It's going to be really good on Showtime. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley will be the main event of the boxing match, and it's going to be great. I just love freak shows. So hopefully for MMA's sake, Tyrone Woodley can do his thing. But I'm not hoping and praying upon a star on Tyrone Woodley, who doesn't throw punches ever. We've never seen Tyrone Woodley punch more than 3 rounds ever. He's never punched 3 or 5 rounds when he won a fight. He's only punched 1 round. He punches 1 round in big flurries, like a mini Vitor Belfort, and not even close to Belfort. So with that said, I'm going to be picking Jake Paul. I think that Tyrone Woodley flops here. I don't think this is real. I think this is about money. And then Jake Paul needs to make money. Money makes money, and it is what it is, kid. But with that said, I appreciate all you guys here live with me to go over this week's Madness and MMA and the boxing match for this Sunday. I can't thank you enough for being here, joining me. And with that said, till next